Last year, Stevie Spark was working as a bartender when he received a phone call that would change his life forever. He was offered a fight against the legendary Tim Tszyu, a light middleweight, and from there, his career has taken off. On November 12th, he went head-to-head with Montana Love, but things didn't go as planned for the Australian boxer. Keep watching this video to find out exactly what went down during the fight. First up, the unfortunate disqualification. Stevie Spark, an Australian boxing star, won his first fight in the United States, but the match was far from perfect after U.S. boxer Montana Love was disqualified for throwing the Aussie out of the ring. Spark, who was making his Matchroom boxing debut and is best known for going up weights to fight Tim Tszyu when the Michael Zerafa fight fell through, was thrown out of the ring by his opponent in the 6th round. Everyone was shocked when the referee decided to stop the fight immediately. Both boxers were fighting tooth and nail in the 5th round when a cut over Love's left eye began to bleed. While Spark was shining in the 5th round, Love was struggling to keep up after a while. Fans could see that he was hampered, and he even told the ringside doctor that his vision was blurry, but like a true sportsman, he continued the fight. When the 6th round started, it was like Love had just had enough of being disrespected in the ring and went completely insane. He threw Spark over the ropes and out of the ring like a rag doll, and all of us couldn't believe what had happened. The commentators were surprised and said they had never seen anything like this. But the real twist in the tale came when the referee immediately called off the fight. The crowd booed as it was announced that Montana Love would be disqualified from the fight, and the win would automatically go to Stevie Spark. Moving on, reactions to the controversial decision. While the internet is still heavily debated over who was at fault for the fight, Hearn to the press right after the fight defended Montana Love after he shoved Stevie out of the ring. When Love entered the ring to face his Australian opponent, he was looking for the WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight belt. Instead, he quickly found out that he was on the back foot after being sent to the canvas and then suffering a cut above his eye after a clash of heads. Spark appeared to be the least bothered about the push and returned unharmed to the ring before the referee waved off the fight and disqualified Love. Hearn said that the referee made a bad call and that he moved far too quickly. It was a complete overreaction from his side. Gervonta Davis, on the other hand, criticized Love for losing control the way he did. He called it extremely unprofessional and went on Twitter to state that the boxer took the easy way out by deciding to lose his cool. And while everyone is questioning what exactly was going on in the referee's mind, we have to admit that Montana was playing rough in that round. Coming up, what's next for the disqualified fighter? The Ohio Commission will hold a hearing to determine the fate of the local fighter who threw his opponent over the ropes on the 12th of November. Spark, who had already knocked Montana Love out in the 2nd round, was prepared to face Montana, who immediately charged him and, after an exchange of punches that sent them to the ropes, lifted his opponent and pushed him headfirst outside the ring. Spark rose to his feet and climbed into the ring, ready to continue the fight, but Montana's corner immediately called for his disqualification. Love and Hearn have stated that they will appeal the decision, and the local commission has requested that videos of the unusual fight be reviewed. Finally, Spark's amazing sportsmanship. After his iconic fight with Tim Tszyu, Spark was able to leave his job as a bartender and instead picked up boxing as a full-time career. It helped him to take on a few fights where he was on the side, and in June of this year, he knocked out former world title challenger Apinon Kongsong. Matchroom approached Spark and he achieved his dream of being signed up for a professional organization. Matchroom also announced its first fight, which would take place in Spark's home country of Australia, and had offered him a spot on that show around the same time. But the Australian fighter was aiming big and instead wanted to face Montana Love in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Spark trained hard in his camp in Texas and finally entered hostile territory against Love, similar to when he fought against Tszyu and Jack Brubaker in an April 2021 weigh-in. This time around, though, Spark was a plus 500 underdog at some sports books. Both fighters entered the ring, and the situation turned sour after Love got hurt. If the fight had been stopped at that point, it might have been ruled a draw because one judge had Love ahead and the others fought even. Instead, they decided to continue, and Love was eventually disqualified. Spark handled this situation very maturely, though. He didn't call out Love for any dirty tactics and instead promised to try his best to score a rematch with him, proving that he has amazing sportsmanship spirit. Moving on, let's look at the 5 most controversial fights of all time. First off, at number 5, the Tyson and Holyfield super fight. This rematch was one of the most hyped-up events in boxing history at the time. Millions of sports fans were eager to see if Tyson could get revenge for his earlier defeat, but the controversies about what happened during the match got more publicity than the match itself. Tyson was getting frustrated by the minute in the match, and during round 3, he bit Holyfield not once but twice. He chomped down with such force that he removed a portion of Evander's right ear. Iron Mike was disqualified, and people were left shocked. Tyson was fined $3 million, but at least we got a good match. Coming in at number 4, Meldrick Taylor's controversial loss. Meldrick Taylor had a clear points lead on Julio Cesar Chavez as the bell rang for the final round of their fight for the unified 140-pound championship. Then, with seconds remaining in the match, Chavez landed a massive right hand that caused a straight knockdown. Taylor stood up at the count of 6 as his trainer, Lou Duva, climbed onto the ring apron and the clock approached the final bell. But Taylor couldn't respond to the referee asking him if he was okay, and the match was called off with exactly 2 seconds remaining on the clock. The crowd went wild. To this day, boxing fans still debate this fight. Moving on to number 3, the match that ended Duran's career. After Sugar Ray lost to Duran in the championship, he demanded an immediate rematch, and 5 months later at the Superdome in New Orleans, we got to see them in the ring together. Leonard took control and taunted Duran throughout the match. Frustrated, the Panamanian legend abruptly turned his back, walked away, and refused to continue in round 8. Duran, the most macho and fierce Latin American boxer, decided to retire, and fans refused to believe that he was taking one match so seriously. Duran blamed stomach cramps, but it just seemed like an excuse. His image was ruined forever in the sport. Up next at number 2, the famous long count fight. Jack Dempsey is the man who famously knocked down his opponent 7 times in the first 3 minutes, but the rules changed, and a boxer had to return to the corner after a knockdown. Dempsey, however, wasn't big on following the rules, and instead broke through and landed a left hook that turned the Fighting Marine's legs to jelly. Tunney was immediately down after that attack, but because Dempsey refused to listen to the referee, he only began counting when Dempsey returned to his corner. Tunney then beat the official count and went on to win. To this day, fans believe that the referee's decision was wrong. Finally, at number 1, Muhammad Ali's Phantom Punch. This matchup sparked more than its fair share of controversy. There were rumors that Liston's corner attempted to sabotage the bout by putting liniment on Sonny's gloves, which got into Clay's eyes and made him blind for much of round 5. When a rematch was scheduled for November in Boston, Ali suffered a hernia just days before the match and had to undergo surgery. During this time, death threats began circulating regarding the boxer, and the fight was delayed. When the Phantom Punch fight finally happened, Ali dominated the ring and won the match when Liston was on the floor for over 10 seconds. Theory started going around about the last punch, but at the end of the day, Ali would come out on top either way with how good his form was that day. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think that it was a fair disqualification? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.